Hey, I'm Doug Graham, and this is Pastor Soul Reset, a short space in your week to steady your soul, refocus your calling, and remember why Jesus called you into the ministry in the first place. Mark chapter 10, 1 through 12. The Pharisees approached Jesus with a question about divorce, but they're not seeking truth. They're trying to trap him. They ask what is permissible, but Jesus reframes the conversation. He takes them back to God's original design. From the beginning of creation, God made male and female, and the two will become one flesh. Then he explains Moses permitted divorce because of the hardness of heart, but that was never God's intention. So Jesus elevates the conversation from legal permission to covenant faithfulness. And this shows us something profound about Jesus. He's not just a teacher of rules, he's a restorer of God's design. While others debate loopholes, Jesus calls people back to heart level obedience. So, why does this matter for us as pastors? Well, because leadership integrity is always connected to relational faithfulness. When covenant relationships weaken, leadership credibility eventually weakens as well. We've all seen it. Gifted leaders, strong in public, but struggling in private. And Jesus is quietly reminding us God cares deeply about the integrity of the relationships that shape our lives. If this passage wasn't in the Bible, we might assume that Jesus only cared about preaching and miracles, but this reminds us he cares about the hidden structures of our lives, because private faithfulness fuels public credibility. So let me make this personal. Over the years, I've walked with many pastors, gifted, committed leaders. But when pressure rises, the first thing that just gets pushed aside are the relationships at home. Late nights, constant demands, emotional exhaustion. And if we're not careful, we pour our best energy into the church, while the covenant that sustains our ministry quietly weakens. So Jesus lovingly calls us back. Ministry does not replace covenant. Covenant sustains ministry. Here's the leadership principle we need to focus on. The integrity of our leadership flows from the integrity of our covenant commitments. Your marriage is not a side story. It's one of the clearest testimonies of your ministry. And friend to friend, it's one of the most powerful sermons your people will ever see week by week. It's your life. Your faithfulness, your humility, your love at home, those things preach louder than your messages. So let me give you a couple of practical things we can do to live this out. First of all, guard your covenant with intentional priority. Don't assume that your marriage will thrive automatically. Schedule time for your marriage. Protect margin. Fight for connection. Healthy ministry is built on healthy covenant. Secondly, lead from integrity, not just influence. Your church may admire your preaching, but your family experiences your character. And over time, character always outlives influence. If you forget everything else about the passage, never forget this. The strength of your ministry will never exceed the strength of the covenant commitments that actually anchor your life. Next time on Pastor Soul Reset, we'll look at a moment when people bring children to Jesus, and the disciples are going to try to stop them. But Jesus responds with one of the most surprising leadership corrections in all of the Bible. You won't want to miss it. And if this steadies your soul, please hit subscribe, drop a quick comment. I'd love to hear from you. Always remember, as you carry the burdens of others, Jesus is carrying you. I'll see you next time on Pastor Soul Reset.